In third grade, a lot of kids thought that Gloria was a bully. The kids thought she was tough, and her teachers were worried about her because she was about to fail a grade again. But that year, things began to change for her. She was invited to be part of a music program at her school, and over time, things began to improve for her. In fifth grade, her grades began to improve dramatically, and she began to have a closer group of friends and became more sociable. This trend continued on through middle school and high school, and now she's set up to have a great career in whatever she decides to pursue. As someone who's participated in art classes from elementary school all the way up through high school, I know the great impact that the arts can have on someone and on who they become. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about the effect that the arts have on students and their development and their growth into citizens, the state of arts education in the United States today, and we're going to finish talking about how we can support the arts programs in our communities. But to understand how important this is, we need to know the kind of effect that the arts have on students as they grow and as they develop. And there's a lot of different articles and research on this that explain how involvement in the arts is very beneficial to students. James Catterall and his colleagues, in one of their pieces of research, they found that students who were highly involved in the arts performed better in school, and they were also more likely to stay through school and had lower dropout rates than their peers. And this trend was true across all different social economic backgrounds, whether they were lower class or upper class. This rang true. Additionally, Barry Orrick and his colleagues, they found that involvement in the arts helped students to develop some character traits that were very helpful to them in their future. Specifically, the arts helped provide these students with a motivation. For a lot of kids, the arts was their main reason for being at school and for showing up. For some, the article even states it was, quote, the focus of daily existence. That's what they lived for, these kids. And that's what kept them in school, really. Additionally, the arts helped these kids develop their work ethic and channel their focus, as well as develop their discipline. These skills were things that they were able to take from their craft, from art or music or whatever it was, and apply these things to their academic life too, really helping them to grow as people and to improve. And finally, the arts provided these kids with a sense of community and identity, gave them a place to belong, and they were able to form relationships with other kids who were pursuing the same things that they were. It really helped them to be able to have that community and a place to belong. Unfortunately, though, the arts across the country find itself in a precarious situation. There's actually been a downward trend of arts participation around the country. The National Center of Education Statistics, for example, found a 23% drop in the proportion of students who reported having been involved in arts education classes between 1982 and 2008. By 2008, that proportion of the student population was less than half. And there's different reasons that might explain it, but a chief reason is that budget cuts due to changes in the economy, as well as federal standards and state education standards have shifted a lot and have put a great emphasis on things like reading and math. Programs like the No Child Left Behind program or Common Core place such high emphasis on more on things like math and reading and science that other programs in the humanities and the arts specifically sometimes suffer because these school districts and schools are trying to shift funds to improve their scores in other areas, and the arts are getting neglected. Because of this lack of funding from schools in the school district, across the country, schools have had to shut down their programs. Specifically, visual arts programs, theater, and dance have suffered incredibly. Schools have had to completely terminate programs because there's not enough money to keep them going. But despite this fact, it's important that we remember that we're not powerless to change the situation. It's important, one step that we can all take is by writing our representatives at the local, state, and national level, but also that we get involved with the members of our local school boards. They have the most direct impact on school districts as a whole. And so it's important that we communicate to them and our other representatives the importance that we personally place on the arts in education. We have to let them know what's important to us if we want them to be able to act on our behalf. But ultimately though, the biggest contributing factor to how we're going to be able to reinvigorate arts programs across the country is our own personal involvement as individuals. Oric and his colleagues, they found that the single greatest contributing factor to whether a student decided to continue pursuing the arts was whether they had the support of their family and of their friends. Yeah, if we have children in our families and in our circle of friends who are interested in pursuing music or the arts or theater or whatever it is, it's important that we support them and let them know how proud we are of their decision, and continue to just show them how much that's important and how valuable that is going to be for them. It's also important that we simply attend these programs and things like this. We need to show our communities, the students, administration, that as a community we support the arts. This shows that we care about the development of students, and that's an important issue to us. Especially it's important that if there are fundraisers, booster clubs, tickets that are being sold, that these are the best kind of events to support, because it helps to show administration, schools, that these kinds of programs can help fund themselves, that they're not completely useless or that they're not simply wasting money. This is oftentimes the biggest contributing factor to whether schools are able to continue their programs, is whether or not they're able to raise support from the community. As I wrap up, just want to remind us all that the incredible ability of the arts to change the trajectory of a student's life, it's something that is almost unmatched by other things in the academia. And the fact that these opportunities are maybe dwindling across the country because of lack of funding is something that's quite disconcerting. However, it's also important that we remember that by being involved in our local communities and writing representatives, that we can help prevent this and change the course of arts programs in America. So as we're beginning to start the school year again in the fall, I hope that you remember Gloria and all the kids like her across the country, who the arts may be the one thing that can change their life. So the next time you hear about a school play or a concert recital, I hope you remember Gloria, and that you take the time and effort to get involved in your local art and your local school's arts programs. Thank you.